Hi everybody. A few days ago, Zayn Malik of One Direction, I think you may not be fans necessarily of One Direction, but I think many of us will have heard of this super band that's hit the world by surprise for these last 4 or 5 years. That Zayn Malik, one of the members of the band, just announced that he was leaving a few days ago. So I thought it was interesting to look at his astrology chart to see what happened when he shot to fame, when the group shot to fame, and to see what's going on with his life now and what aspects may have triggered this stunning action that he took. So first thing to say that it was in the middle of 2010 on the X Factor when this group were put together, and at that time for Zayn, Jupiter and Uranus transiting were conjunct, having just gone into Aries. So Jupiter is ruler of his 10th house. His midheaven is Sagittarius. So Jupiter in Aries is a new beginning, and Jupiter together with planet Uranus would bring a huge, sudden, surprise new beginning connected with his career, connected with being out there. Aries, something brand new, something that hadn't been seen before. And this, I feel that there were other aspects, but this was a big one that an astrologer would notice. So Uranus, the surprise, Jupiter, the ruler of the midheaven, together shot to stardom unexpectedly. Next, let's look now just a little bit at Zayn himself. So we see that he's got Venus in Pisces in this first house. Sorry about that. So Venus first house is often fair of face, nice looking. In Pisces, somewhat, I have to say that the personality of this chart of this person looks rather introvert rather than extrovert by nature. Got a lot of Capricorn here, but Sun Neptune together would indicate a very sensitive person, and Venus in Pisces also sensitive, and Mars in Cancer also very sensitive. So Venus and Mars in very sensitive placements, and this Sun Neptune further reinforcing a somewhat Piscean personality. So I'm not surprised for those of you that did watch the X Factor and followed this. He was the one of the band who didn't want to dance, who didn't want to look silly. He is by nature, especially having Mars retrograde by birth, somebody who needs isolation and quiet time to recharge batteries. Yes, this is not somebody who is always out there. The Pisces rising suggests that he can put on the act, but that inside very often it's like this Mars wants to go into hiding, especially as this Mars is opposite all his planets in this 11th house and is square to Jupiter. So there's a grand T-square going on between Mars and Jupiter, Jupiter being at the head of this T-square. So often he has a tendency, I would say, to just overdo the energy of going out, and then needing really to relax and kick back somewhat. So my guess is that the performing is great, this 11th house stuff, performing, being out there, having an impact on millions of people around the world, and with the fortunate Sagittarian midheaven, this would be helpful to him. So that's what I see just as a quick snapshot. Now, what's happening now is that transiting Pluto here is conjunct Mercury. So this, but it's very strongly in conjunction to Mercury. Also, we've got Saturn as well, currently square to his Venus. So, and opposite, this Venus is natally opposite the Moon. So this Saturn, the square to the Venus, is a feeling of he's not getting enough enjoyment out of what he's been doing. Yes, that something needs to be restructured. The Pluto conjunct the Mercury would indicate deep thinking. This was not a decision that was made lightly. And Mercury rules the 4th house of home, Mercury ruling Jupiter here, ruling the Gemini energy here. So possibly something to do with his home, with his family connections, and also maybe as well with 4th house, wanting to do something alone, wanting to maybe pursue a career on his own. So certain dissatisfactions, disillusion here. We've got transiting Neptune right now, is conjunct the Venus, which is opposite the moon energy. So this feeling of hopes, dreams, and certain disappointments now, and a feeling that something needs to be restructured in his life. The other thing that's happening is that the progressed moon, which indicates very often the internal feeling, is right here now, still in Gemini, but at the very last degree of Gemini. And next month, this progressed moon goes into Cancer, where it will stay for 2.5 years. And progressed moon in Cancer again indicates a move, can indicate a move, a change of surroundings, a feeling of needing to be home, of needing a connection with home, with family, with things that are familiar, and probably with being alone. There's a real loner in this chart, as much as there is wanting to connect with people, but connecting more on a superficial level rather than on a very deep, deep level. So for Zayn, what I'm seeing is that in May of 2017, when his progressed moon goes into Leo, I wouldn't be surprised if at that point he starts to go into a solo career. I mean, there are already talks of that now. The astrology would indicate that this is possibly a direction that he's going to go into. But I think that it probably doesn't fully start to get going until that progressed moon goes out of Cancer, moves towards out of Cancer, probably, I would say, in a couple of years' time. So, watch this space for him. I think his career is still on the up and up. Saturn is making its way to the top of the chart, indicating more success, more fame, more possibilities for him, not less possibilities. So I think things are opening up. This has been a very difficult decision for him, not easy to make, and he's probably been grappling with it for quite some time. So there you have it. There's so much to say when one starts looking at astrology charts. It's like I'm just giving you a little snapshot here, but I look at the other charts as well within the group. So here we see a Virgo moon from Zayn. We've got 2 Virgo suns in Liam and Neil of Virgo suns. Louis is another Capricorn. The only certain odd man out, but he's not really odd man out, is Harry, who's got all air in his chart. Very charming with Libra rising and all his Aquarian planets. But it's very interesting when you start to look at the dynamics in a family, in your relationships, how we can improve these dynamics and how the aspects will trigger important decisions in your life. Not only from the transits, because the transits are coming on the outside, if you like, but the progressions, which are extremely important, which indicate your inner needs. So, just wanted to share that little snippet with you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back soon. Bye for now.